While reading through my Bible this morning, I was reading the book of John, came across John chapter 11, verse 35. This is the shortest verse in the Bible. It simply states, Jesus wept. And as I was reading that, it made me think, lately in society, I've been seeing a lot of push for this masculinity. What is a man? What does it take to be a man? And it seems like so many of these videos are saying that men aren't supposed to show emotion. Men are supposed to be hard and rough, and I don't think it's right. The more that, as I read the Bible, I learn who Jesus was, and I think if we are to model ourselves as men, what is the standard? Well, the standard should be the greatest man who ever lived. Jesus Christ is the greatest man who ever lived. So if we're going to look at what it takes to be a man, let's look at how the greatest man that ever lived acted. We start right here in this verse. This verse in and of itself seems to just destroy the idea of this newfound masculinity, this idea that it's not okay for men to have emotions. So listen, why did Jesus weep? The reason that Jesus wept was he had just received news that a friend of his had died. Lazarus had died. And of course we think, well, surely Jesus knew that he was going to raise Lazarus right back up from the dead. Why would he be upset about that? That death is temporary. All death is temporary if you're following Christ. So why would he get upset because Lazarus passed away? Well, simple. Jesus had empathy. Jesus wasn't just riding around and somebody shouted, hey, you know your friend Lazarus died? No, Jesus had other people whom he cared about come to him to tell him that his friend Lazarus had died, and they were sad. And when Jesus saw that, it didn't matter that he knew the truth. It didn't matter that he knew Lazarus was going to walk again and wasn't going to stay dead. What mattered to Jesus was the other people in his life that he was looking at, and they were sad, and that caused him to be sad. Jesus was empathetic. And if Jesus can show empathy, then I think that we as men should show empathy as well. If you see someone upset, if it's someone that you care about upset, it is up to you to show them that everything's going to be okay, and you do that by first starting with their emotions are okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to mourn. During the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, blessed are those who mourn, for they will find comfort in God. And I believe that Jesus, in this very short verse, in this 2-sentence verse, Jesus is showing us that even as men, it's okay for us to sometimes be sad. It's okay for us to show emotion. And it's okay for us to be vulnerable. And as a man, we need to learn from the greatest man who ever lived.